The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by AdamMail.com. Enjoy 35% off a prostate massager or another sexy toy when you use the promo code MANWHORE at AdamMail.com. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the haters, brigaders, and ambitious defamers. This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. All right, hello. Yeah, guys, can we just remember, I'm not an expert. I don't call myself an ally. I don't call myself a feminist. I'm just Billy Procida, a comedian with a fuck show. Let's just remember that, please. Thanks. Awesome. Hi. Save your hate for someone else. What is up? How you doing? If you are unfamiliar with my show, this is a podcast where I typically talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. However, on this week's episode, we have someone I have not been intimate with. No. Although by the end of this, I feel like we share a similar problematic bond. But I have got on stand-up comedian Eagle Witt, fellow fuckboy supreme, if you will, and I cannot wait to share him with y'all in a bit. But first, show dates, people. Show dates. Okay. April 3rd, I'm going to be at the Soho Playhouse at 9:30 p.m. here in New York City. It's a free show. Should be a good time. I can't quite announce what it is or how to buy tickets yet, but I would say keep April 14th open. Good chance you'll hear me on panel at an event here in the city. Hopefully more on that next week. And then, of course, today, March 28th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we have another Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout. Yes, it's that monthly Facebook Live event where I log on for an hour, kind of give you my office hours. I open myself up for questions. I share with you how my month has been, and I get to learn a little bit more about you. Of course, if you don't want to miss that, go to the Man Whore Podcast Facebook fan page. Click that like button so you don't miss out. All right, a lot going on. A lot has happened this week, okay? Stuff going on in the news. I am not going to try even attempt to go fully in depth with all of this. So I'm just going to kind of rapid fire, spit through some topics, throw a few words out there so we can move on. Trans-military ban back in effect. My opinion, fuck you, Trump, and fuck you, Pence, for writing the damn thing. Okay, FOSTA, SESTA. Those might sound like soft drinks to you, but that's actually legislation that Congress has passed. We kind of missed this one. My bad. What my opinion on the matter is, listen to sex workers on the matter, okay? Craigslist. Rest in peace, the personal section on Craigslist, which was shut down in wake of the passage of FOSTA. See why we should listen to sex workers? We're losing our fun Craigslist place. All right? So I repeat the words above. Listen to sex workers. Okay. Stormy Daniels. Bareback. Girl. Ooh, questionable decision. But you rocked it on 60 Minutes. Thanks for being so brave, hun. And then March Madness. Go Kansas. That's what I got to say. All my brackets are busted. I got mad brackets. All of them busted early on. So the last thing I have left is to say go Kansas. And I think I hit all the big points. Like I said, a lot went on in the past week. I got some emails. I got your emails, your messages, your words I'm going to put into and out of my mouth. Going to start with some positive words from David, who is a very proud member of the Fan Whore community on Patreon. He is at a level where he has access to our super exclusive sexy photo sharing kick group, The Peep Show, which he's is an avid member of. And he sent me this message. He said, "You're doing a great thing. You have no idea how liberating it is to be able to have a group of like-minded people around whom you can truly be yourself when you've had to hide and be ashamed of that part of you for so long. Keep it up." Needless to say, David lives in, let's just say, a less accepting part of this country. So thank you, David, for the kind words, because I have a different David who sent me less than kind words. His email, the subject line is, "Poor Billy. Hi, Billy. I listened with interest to your monologue at the start of the recent podcast and thought I would share my opinion as one who has had more than a passing interest in the world of dominance and submission. I am sure you have gotten your share of poor Billy messages. Well, not from me. Oh yeah! Boom! This guy's about to hand me my ass. Let's hear what he has to say. To me, you came across as the little boy who hopped out of the wading pool and jumped into the deep end of the pool, and then wondered why things were not happening as he thought they should. In a DS environment, it's not about you. To the D, the dominant, I can only assume, what you want is irrelevant. It's about them. And you unfortunately showed why a number of people consider male submissives to be little more than whiny little boys who sulk when they don't get what they want. As you said, you could have made a stand at any time, but you didn't. Obviously, this woman had little to no intention of getting with you, but in her mind, she made sure you were taken care of by having you play with two others. The fact that they were not the ones you wanted to play with was not her problem. You could have said no, but you wanted to please her in the hope that she might allow you some time with her. As I said, in submission, it's not about what you want, it's about pleasing the dominant. Something that you may in time learn. Obviously, we're all going by your recollection of events, and what you recall may or may not be entirely accurate or seen that way by others in attendance. Anyway, I really enjoy your podcasts and your interviews. Maybe not with everything said, but listening to other points of view is good for the mind. Regards, David. Well, David, I agree. I agree that someone entering a DS situation is submitting themselves to the wills of the dominant, and that it's on them to say for it and advocate for themselves when need be. I agree. However, I did not agree to enter a DS situation. I agreed to go upstairs for a foursome where a very explicit interaction was made expected. Remember, she pointed at me and was like, "You and me, we're good to go. In this foursome. Only us in my hotel room." There was no discussion about me submitting to her or following her instructions. There was discussion about people's interests amongst the four of us. She expressed she likes to take charge and that she is a switch. I mentioned that I switch in like a service top sort of way, but how I love to follow the instructions of a beautiful leading lady. There was no discussion about me following her instructions or us establishing boundaries and safe words. The only practical discussion was when everyone had last been tested and that it was going to be the four of us. Although I ponied up to her, nuzzled her shoulder a little bit, after we were making out, I still never agreed to submission. Certainly not in the capacity you're describing it. And I certainly did not opt into an 8-person orgy with 4 people I met in the elevator. You seem knowledgeable about DS dynamics, dude. And if that's true, you'd know that submitting is something that is discussed explicitly for the safety of the sub. Sure, maybe what is wanted by the sub isn't as important. I'm no expert on kink. But I know that the safety of the sub is of paramount importance. That night, I was not a sub. I was a guy baited and switched. I don't know. Is she a bad person for not fucking me? Of course not. Should I have advocated for myself? Totally. That's why I didn't leave there angry with Babe, as we call her. I just left disappointed with myself. And hey man, clearly you're loving the podcast, so maybe you should show it with your wallet and enjoy membership perks by joining the fan whore community for just $1 at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. ABP, baby, always be plugging. All right. Next email, little less critical. This one comes from Brandon. Hey Billy, I've been listening for over a year now, but being a recent grad, money isn't always there, but I am so glad I joined Patreon. The community of fan whores is so inviting and amazing. I know you get a million emails like this. Hey, everybody, I do not get even close to a million emails. But I got to throw in my appreciation. You've brought me to tears and also nearly caused me to drive off the road from laughing. I am fairly inexperienced in terms of sex, but I feel a lot more open about my sexuality thanks to all the work you've done. With all that out of the way, I had a question. I am a bi guy and hope to start to #pay for my porn, but I'm struggling to find a good site. I know you recommend CrashPad, and while I love the queer slant, I'm looking for something with more bi/gay material. I know that's not really your wheelhouse, but I figured if someone knew where to find ethical gay bi porn, it would be you. Keep rocking it. I'm hoping to buy my ManWhoreCon tickets soon. Interesting you think if anyone would know where to find like ethical gay porn or any gay porn, it would be me. I think any gay porn I know about, any man-on-man porn I know about purely comes from my guests or listeners who tend to overshare. But you are right. I shouldn't neglect the bi boys out there with my #pay for your porn series, my little monthly series where I remind y'all to pay for your porn just a little bit. And I recommend the site that I paid for in that month. So I am going to think about this in my future picks, okay? Off the top of my head, I can recommend Mr. Pam's site, Naked Sword. Mr. Pam she is the gay porn director that I spoke to last year. She out of San Francisco. Really, really fun conversation and an even juicier bonus episode on Patreon. Go to Naked Sword. You're going to find plenty of guy-on-guy stuff, and you can trust that it is ethically made. As for bi guys, look, I put a tweet out there to porn Twitter. And I was like, yo, where's the bi boy porn? And I'll be honest with you, I didn't get a lot of answers. The one thing that was recommended to me was to poke around on clip sites. Clip sites, if you don't know, they're these sites where it's kind of what it sounds like. You buy clips. You're buying porn clips, not clits, clips of clits sometimes. You're buying these clips typically from the performer directly. So poke around, find a porn performer, find a male performer that you really like. Manyvids.com, iwantclips.com, clips for sale. That's the number 4 sale.com. I think OnlyFans is another one that you can do. So go poke around there and just like search bisexual, bi guys, things like that. And I hope if anybody has recommendations of a good bi porn site, please shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com. I'd be happy to give it a little signal boost. All right, and if you have any comments or questions, send them on over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. All right. Now, speaking of paying for your porn, yes, let's #pay for our porn before I get to this week's guest, Eagle Witt. So this month, I went a little rogue, tried something new, didn't know what to expect, and I actually paid for a membership to one of those sites that actually look like spammy pop-ups. It's called checkav.com, check like the Czech Republic. CZECHAV.com. So I go there and I buy a membership, partially because this is one of those sites that makes those like massive glory hole porns. Not like, oh, it's a glory hole. No, like it's a room and there are like holes where someone blows you on, women are blowing you on the other side, or there's like a real woman's lower half sticking out of the wall for you at like fucking level, or they have one that's like at like face level so you can like eat out someone. Sometimes there are butts hanging out so you can like fuck people doggy style. Like it's a really, yeah, that is hot to me. I think those videos are super hot and super sexy. So I actually paid for a membership so I could like watch more of that. And it turned out that they have like all these other like side pages, as a lot of porn sites tend to have. The bigger ones, you know, you buy a membership for one, but you get access to like 30 others. I mean, on their front page, and I wouldn't advise this from a marketing standpoint, but they advertise their offshoot horrorporn.com, which is terrifying. I can't tell if it's CGI or really good makeup, but it's like, you know, fucking an alien or getting a blowjob from an alien from Area 51. It's kind of weird shit. And at first I think this is great. Fun site. Check gang. It's all check. It's all check this. Check. Like, you know how you go on a regular porn site? It says couples. It says blowjobs. It says orgy. It says massage. It's like that, but it has like check in front of all of it. So check couples, check fantasy, check twins, check home orgy, check massage, check supermodels, check lesbians. You know, it's like if you have a fetish for Eastern Europe, this is definitely a site for you. But then something started making me feel a little queasy. Couldn't quite tell, like with my previous sites, how ethically the porn was made. Crash Pad series, I know that's ethical feminist porn. Trenchcoat X, that's made by Stoya and Caden Cross, who have stellar reputations in the industry. Check AV, I don't know. My first time I'm questioning it is, well, I mean, one, they're subject to different laws than in the United States when they're shooting their videos, but they have a page called Check Sharking. Now, I have no idea what sharking was. I've never heard of this term before, sharking. So I go check it out. I'm like, oh, I'll watch some of this. It's all shot in public. So I'm thinking, oh, this could be like a fun, hot public series. I like public stuff, you know, public porn. But apparently sharking is when you run up to a woman and just like pull her. Sharking is like when you run up and to a random woman and you pull her top down, you pull her skirt down, or you pants her. That's sharking. But I'm watching some of this, and it's all shot out in, you know, the Czech Republic, Eastern Europe. It's, you know, it's all out there. It's all subtitled, which, not for nothing, not a big fan of subtitles in my porn. And this stuff looks violently not ethical. This looks really realistic. And, you know, that's kind of the point, right? With porn, it's supposed to look at least a little realistic when it's supposed to look, quote unquote, amateur. But I'm watching this and like, these are not porn looking gals. And knowing that they're subject to different regulations and laws makes me regret this membership. So I'm not going to recommend you pay for checkav.com. I'm instead just going to say, go back and check out trenchcoatx.com, crashpadseries.com. Love those places, and the videos are done properly. You know, this is a site where like I don't feel bad if I watch their pirated content in the future on a tube site, because this looks pretty shitty. I know this is like a less happy hashtag pay for your porn thing, but you know, at the same time, you should pay for porn. Pay for something. Just something to think about. All right, now moving on to my guest this week, Eagle Witt. Super funny stand-up comedian here in New York City, a rising star of sorts, a young buck. I've known Eagle for several years, and he, you know, I see his posts online. Like he seems like he's a similarly sexually active individual. Turns out he probably fucks way more than me. I'm starting to realize. I mean, the dude's got the confidence to go and talk to women in public. I certainly don't do that. I only talk to women in public if I overhear them talk about New York history, so then I can like geek out and be like, oh yeah, did you, let's talk about the consolidation vote of 1898. You know, these comedian talks, sometimes they can be really funny, but these get surprisingly heavy. All in all, really good episode, I think, because I don't commonly have like, it's not, this show typically isn't Billy and another straight guy talk about sex stuff. But I do think it's good that we have these conversations publicly and privately, you know, as straight guys. And I think that's what helps, you know, move the culture forward, even if we're going to be a little bit wrong here and there, because we can't be corrected if we don't expose our ignorance, right? So sit back, relax, enjoy, possibly hate, possibly love my conversation with comedian Eagle Witt. I mean, like, do you hook up after shows a lot with like people from the, you know, crowd?
Yeah, my last hookup was from a person from the crowd. Literally,
is that like primarily who you sleep with? Is like
her?
No, just like people like
general.
audience members.
I went through a time period where I was sleeping with audience members primarily, and not anymore.
Why not?
I was doing a club. I was doing LOL, which is like a touristy club. And I was doing it so often. I was doing it like every night. And people...
With the spots or sleeping with audience members?
Well, both. So I was doing spots every night there. And everybody in the crowd has hotels in the area. They're all like right there.
Yeah.
They're all tourists. They don't give a fuck. So I was fucking audience members like all the time. and then I stopped doing LOL as much, so I don't do it anymore. Also, I think I got a little hotation, as I call it, right now, or at least I did for a while, especially
a hotation.
Yeah, which kind of got me.
What is a hotation?
Hotation is it's almost like a team of partners that are kind of in rotation. You know, you're like, how can I explain it? You know, like if people say like, oh, you got hoes, like you have girls, you have, or like they say that to girls too. They say girls have hoes. You know?
I feel like my specific type of audience is going to be like, oh my God, this guy is calling women hoes. Who is this guy? And
that's what I'm clearing up. What I'm clearing up is girls have hoes too. In Ebonics, girls have hoes too.
It's an agendered term.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I have a hotation, which means like, there's a couple girls that I'm consistently having sex with, not exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No girlfriend, nothing like that on the horizon.
Like that, no.
Is that something you want?
I'm on the fence. I go back and forth on it. For a while I didn't want it at all, and now I'm starting to get on the fence about it. Where I'm like, fuck, maybe I should kind of get somebody and settle down, and chill out.
Well, because like when you say like you have a full hotation, I think of it as like in the poly community, there's the term polysaturated, which is like you have too many partners. Like you have enough. You're kind of at critical mass for what you have the bandwidth for handling, like whether it be sexual partners, romantic partners, whatever. It's like you got enough. And so sometimes like if I have enough people in my hotation, so to speak, it feels so weird for me to like your voice. It sounds natural. If I say hotation, it sounds like someone should write a blog. It's weird. I'll find myself like I don't use Tinder or Bump. I'll stop using those things as much, or I stop searching like Reddit as much, or I stop like trying to hook up because I'll be like, I'm good. Like I've got what I need for now. So it sounds like you might like be in that kind of a spot.
Right now I'm actually just coming out of that type of spot. Like I was in that type of spot for a while, and now I only have like one or two girls that I consistently have sex with. And it's like I don't know, like I kind of do want to settle down, but I'm very picky, and I'm also like when it comes to that, like when it comes to just sex, I'm like whatever. But when it comes to like an actual relationship, I'm very picky, and also it's a headache. It's like I want to, but I don't want to. I'm ready. I'll say I'm ready.
You're ready.
I think I'm ready.
You're prepared for the right situation to present itself.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to have you on, and I should say I'm here with comedian Eagle Witt, who I've known for quite some time. I think I've known you since before you could drink legally. Does that sound right?
No, but I could see how you would think that. Yes, a lot of people think that. Yeah,
right. Well, you also like seem to post similarly slutty lifestyle stuff.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, I could talk to like another slutty straight guy. This is okay. Yeah, like let's talk. Because like I also wouldn't clarify you as disrespectful to women type of slutty guy. Because there's guys like the slutty dude who's like also just trying to bang as many bitches as possible.
No, it's not even like
that.
And
he says that he's like saying like bang bitches.
No, it's not even like that.
Yeah, yours isn't like that at all.
I actually got into it with a girl the other day because she said she was like, well, I know what type of girls you sleep with. Or whatever, like basically downplaying the women I've been with. And I got really upset with her. One, because it didn't make sense logically. I was like, well, I've had sex with you, so what are you saying about yourself?
Yeah.
And then two, I don't like when people, disrespect the women I've been with. I respect every woman I've been with. And like when they disrespect the women I've been with and say like they're stupid or something or they're slutty, I'm like, what's wrong with you? These are great girls.
Yeah.
We just had sex.
If you're insulting who I sleep with, you're insulting my judgment.
Absolutely.
Of like who I sleep with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, personally, I pride myself on the people I've slept with. And I also pride myself on who I haven't slept with.
Yes.
Which I don't think we talk about enough. Like,
that's a good point.
The passes we've made. Times when like sometimes an opportunity presents itself and you go like, I could, but you choose not to for whatever, not necessarily just on looks.
Yeah, not even just on looks
like
sometimes.
On some like really key shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't sleep with someone because she was a comedy club manager. And I didn't end up going through with it because I was like, well, if this goes bad, this could hurt my career.
For sure.
There are valid reasons like that for a guy to turn down sex. And I think people don't think about men turning down sex from women.
I've done the thing where I turn down a girl because she's, and this is coming from a person who's very sexual. If she's to such a level of sexual and recklessness, where I go like, this could be a health problem. Like, I don't know what this girl can like really catch something one day and I'll catch it next. Like,
is that just because she bangs a lot or is it the type of banging she does?
The type of banging she does and the there's like a reckless nature to it. You know, you can tell the difference when it's like, oh, you're more than just having a lot of sex. You're like very carefree with this. Like you're not taking the right precautions.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'll turn down a girl for that. Like I've turned down a couple girls for that where I'm like, this is not smart.
Like even when she says like, when she offers like, you don't have to use a condom, I'll be like, well, I would use a condom, but now I don't even really want to fuck you with the condom.
Yeah.
Because that was an option.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've not applied to gangbang. I've applied to gangbangs on Craigslist where they were like, oh yeah, we'd like to do this bareback. They're like, you can use a condom if you want to. I'd be like, that a condom is even something negotiable makes me not even want to be involved.
Yeah, not even want to be involved because I mean condoms break. People, you know, condoms. I've had sex with girls where, specifically, I'm thinking of one person, but I've had sex with girls where the sex was so amazing. And then the way they handled it, like before the sex and right after the sex, like the way their energy was, I was like, I'm not gonna have sex with this person again because this is someone who really has a problem, and I don't know their lifestyle when I leave. Like I feel like when I leave, another dude comes in. Like that's how I feel like they're living, and I'm like, that's too much.
Well, I live in a world where like there usually literally is another man coming in.
For sure. Like sex parties and stuff.
Yeah. So it's like I'm used to like the other guy coming in, but I'm also used to sticking around with partners who I know are very like health conscious and safe and smart and informed.
Important.
I think people who informed, people who don't throw around false fucking STD statistics that they never looked up.
I hate that so much.
Right. So what are reasons that you would turn down sex with a woman, even though the looks were on and the chemistry's there, but something else made you go like, maybe I'm not gonna do this?
Well, okay,
because it's not easy. It's definitely not an easy decision.
Yeah, most things you don't turn down sex for as a guy. I've turned down sex because the girls were like mentally, like emotionally not there. You know, like I like you to be stable. If a girl's not stable immediately, that's a red flag. And I've also had a lot of experience with those type of girls. And once again, the health thing, man, like I've stopped having sex with girls before. I don't mind if a girl is like a sex worker or whatever, but I've stopped having sex with girls before who were sex workers who didn't do it like with the right precautions, where they were like bragging about, and then, you know, whatever, he paid me more, so I just fucked him raw and whatever. And it's like, well, okay, I'm not dealing with you anymore. Like not like that. That's a risk. I'm not dealing with it.
Absolutely. And typically I would tell people that, you know, sleeping with sex workers and porn stars are actually the safest people you could sleep with because typically they take more care over their bodies than you and I do.
It's their lifestyle. It's their career.
Their body, is the career.
For sure.
But someone who's bragging about like, he paid me an extra $500 and it's like, nothing's worth $500 with this body.
Absolutely.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like all the sex maybe drove you to too much because you try to do that abstinent thing, which I remember when you posted about that, I was like, this should be interesting. Do you want to tell us about that?
I lasted 3 weeks, which I was very proud of.
What was the whole thing that you were trying to do?
I was trying to stop having sex, and I also tried to stop masturbating, which lasted about a week, maybe a week and a half, and boy, was it torture.
Yeah.
3 weeks altogether for the abstinence, and it was a mess. I mean, I really, really struggled through that. What I was trying to do is I caught myself.
Eagle Witt getting so much pussy, he's got to work hard not to do it.
Honestly, though, and I know that sounds crazy, and it's not braggadocious, I genuinely have to work hard to not have sex, and it's annoying almost. I have girls that hit me up. I have girls that are breaking stereotypes. Like, a lot of people think, like, girls aren't the thirsty ones. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. We are all thirsty for sex. Men, women, whatever. Hermaphrodites.
I'm thirsty for this fucking fly.
I see it flying around. It's a big fly.
It's a big fucking fly. I'm not a fan. All right, I'm thirsty to destroy it, but another time. Sorry.
No, yeah, I took 3 weeks off. Got right back into it. I was just, man, you know what it is? Do you know your body count? That's a thing. Do you know how many people you've been with?
I don't call it a body count. That's so morbid. that's so
like
your
you
body count. Yeah, God forbid.
You know what?
You asked the wrong person. Like, you ask a hitman that, he's like, which body count?
It's funny because, like, I know the PC culture and know everything. And a lot of the time, a big issue with people getting outraged is just not knowing slang.
Yeah.
Because some slang, like, you could talk it to... Like a feminist who knows the slang will be like, oh, well, that's nothing. He's just using the slang. You know what I mean? Like, body count comes from the fact that especially young minorities nowadays, we call it, like, when you have sex with someone, a kill.
Or slay.
A kill or a slay. So it's like a body count. So, it does sound terrible. But so do you know how many people you've been with?
Yeah. Penis and vagina, yeah.
Or no, people in general.
Because people in general
had sexual intercourse with.
Like my penis went to some sort of orifice.
But not head.
So we're not counting head.
You're not counting head.
Okay, well, I'll put it this way. Anyone I've butt fucked, I've been in their pussy.
Okay, so then perfect.
Yeah, those are going to
I'm not going to ask you your count, but I'm just saying, so you know your count.
I know that.
That's what made me go abstinent. Is sometimes I'll like there's a good song, there's like a T.I. song about like girls that go to sleep and they cry and they think about like the people they've been with. And I was like, this is me.
Yeah,
like I sometimes I don't know, sometimes I think about how many people I've been with at my age and I'm like, it's disgusting. That's a lot of people.
When
and I
did you
feel
lose your
kind of
virginity?
bad. I lost my virginity late too. That's another thing. I lost my virginity when I was like 17, 18.
That's not late.
That's late for me and my friends.
I mean, you and your friends, but yeah. It's fine. You kind of end up slut shaming yourself.
Yes,
right.
I self slut shame all the time.
Yeah,
that's what made me go abstinent. Where I was like, oh, this is a lot. It's really a lot. Oh, and I had an STD scare. That always helps.
Well, yeah,
STD scares to make you go abstinent.
Yeah, you were in comedy green rooms, just being like, "Yeah, man, my dick's fucked up."
Yeah, I was telling all the comedians in every comedy club, like, "Yo, my dick is fucked up." I was asking questions. I was so nervous. I was asking everybody, like, "Yo, man, has your dick ever done this? Like, you ever got like, it's a little bit itchy, but it's dry. It's not like herpes. It's dry."
We'll get back to your dick in a minute. I totally forgot about that.
That's a good thing you brought that up, which I will explain in a minute. That's great. My bad. I got my foot in your furniture.
No, please, no, relax. I like how you are both a no, you're actually fine. You're good.
Okay.
I just like how it's a combination of you're relaxed, but you still have your shoes on, your coat on, and your backpack on. You're ready to run at any moment. But the abstinence attempt came from freaking out at your body count.
Yes.
And what was your body count at the time?
At the time? It wasn't even that high at the time. It was like late 80s maybe at the time.
In the 80s?
Yeah. Is that high? I don't know.
Do you know what the national average is for like a man
for their whole life?
Country?
Isn't it like 15 or some stupid
Something
low shit?
Very
ridiculous. I get 15 in like 2 months.
Oh my God. That's and there's nothing good or bad about it, I guess.
I'm a sex addict, man. It's really bad. It's bad for me, in my opinion.
Well, I did something similar in excuse me. Towards the end of college, I started I did the whole I self slut shamed too, where I kind of freaked out and thought like, oh, I'm sleeping with too many people too quickly.
Yeah.
So I started making a rule where it was like, I won't fuck anybody the first time we hook up.
Okay.
So anytime we hook up, we can do stuff. We can get naked. We can roll around. But like, I'm not going to put my penis.
Whoa, that must have been weird. That was torture.
No, because a lot of times I would still come. You know, it just wouldn't be from fucking.
Okay.
You know,
you like titty fuck them or something?
No, like maybe they suck my dick, or I'm going to go down on her, or she's going to give me a hand job, or whatever. You know, the idea was to make me think twice about who I slept with, right? And then, because I was starting to sleep with people, and then I would be ashamed of who I slept with. I'd be like, I'd like the next morning be like, ooh, that wasn't.
Yeah, that
was a bad look.
Yeah.
You know,
I hate that.
Yeah, I was saying yes because I could have sex with them, not because I wanted to have sex with them.
Oh yeah, same here.
So like,
been there.
Yeah, and then I carried it on for like probably several years, like through my mid-20s, because for two reasons. One, to continue this thing where I wanted to make all sex I had purposeful. I want any sex I had to be sex I wanted to have, not sex that was consenting, right?
Okay.
But also, a side effect of this, which is why I also liked it, was that I would tell when the chick's like, oh, I really want to fuck you, I'd be like, hey, here's like my boundary. And I would justify it to them with, let me learn your body tonight. Let me do some research. Let me figure out what feels good for you and what your body responds to. Because then when we do fuck the next time,
be better.
Yeah, because I'm already know some of the cheat codes.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you want me to just barrel in right now, we can hope for the best.
Yeah.
So it's not like a hard, fast rule for me anymore, but because I trust myself in my judgment these days. But it used to be a thing where I was sleeping with a bunch of people indiscriminately, and it didn't feel great.
Yeah, I mean, I am a mess. I've gotten a little bit better, I guess, maybe, but I'm a mess.
You went to an extreme. You were like, I'm just going to stop fucking, period.
Yeah, which didn't work at all. And I probably came back crazier than before because I was horny now. I'm pent up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's a weird combination of sexual drive and I guess, game. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I do well with women, and I have since I was like a little kid. Like, I wasn't fucking when I was a little kid, but like I've always like, you know, got girls and shit.
Yeah.
And then once I started fucking, it was like, oh boy, like every single girl that I'd usually get to just look at me. Now I'm fucking them, and it's like that's way too many people. It's not good.
Yeah, just because you know that it's available. It's like when it's like the first time you skip class in college. No one's making you go to class like in high school.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you think you got to go to every college class. When you miss your first college class and be like, you know, I'm just going to not go today, and nothing bad happens to you because of it, you go like, oh, fuck, I can do this all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. I don't know.
It's just like that, yeah.
That's why. And so what were some of the thoughts like while you were attempting the abstinence?
It was like, I kept on thinking if I hit a certain amount of time, it'll get easier. That's what people were telling me. People were like, no, once you hit like this amount of time, you'll be like, oh, this is nothing. But like hitting that amount of time was not coming. Like they'd be like, oh yeah, once you hit like 3 months. I'm like, 3 months? Like that sounded like a decade to me. Like 3 months, Jesus. I mean,
and also at your age when you were attempting this, were you 23?
I was 23.
Right? Yeah,
you know, which is like ridiculous to try to not have sex at 23.
Tell a 23-year-old boy to like quit fucking. It's yeah.
Also, it's almost like the thing where when you have a girlfriend, how like girls are more attracted to you, or vice versa. If a girl has a boyfriend, guys are more attracted to her.
When you're unavailable.
There's that energy of you know, me being abstinent that now girls are somehow throwing themselves at me even more. Like the hottest chicks ever. Like they're just throwing themselves at me. I'm like, fuck.
It's a challenge. As soon as they learn about it, they're like, well, I wonder if I can get him to break his pledge for me.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that is.
I remember I lost the abstinence because this girl I was having sex with at the time, who I miss having sex with so much, but she came over. It was New Year's Eve. And she was like, yeah, I'll come over. Like, the ball's going to drop. We'll just kick it. We won't do anything. And I was like, yeah, we won't do anything. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, we're going to do stuff. I don't care. Fuck it. I gave up.
It's weird, too, because the same thing with, like, when you have a girlfriend, that's when everyone's jumping on you or trying to get you. And I find that even whether or not you're allowed to hook up with other people, that fucking fly, man, is... Hold on. I'm going to open the window. That's going to bug the shit out of me. Yeah.
You got him?
Fuck yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's lying right there where all of his friends can see. That's what you do. You let him know you're not going to put up with it. Well, because like I think there's part of that where it's like, can I make like for you know when women hit on married men? Granted, I'm not a woman. You're not a woman. There's no women present, so this is probably like not the time to bring this up. But whatever. I gotta imagine there's got to be a part of it for women who like sleeping with married men. It's like, am I hot enough that I can get this guy to cheat on his wife?
Well, yeah, and there's also, I mean, I don't know your fetishes and stuff that you like, but like taboo shit, I'm definitely into that. And it's like there's a taboo element to forbidden fruit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess nobody's supposed to have sex with somebody that's married unless you're that married person, you know. But
yeah,
it's fun. It's savage. You're like, ooh, I'm doing something I shouldn't.
Yeah,
it's hot.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
We got to do it quick, too, because we might get caught.
Oh, my God. Don't want to get caught.
And then the guy's like, thank God I don't have to last long. This is great, and my excuse is we have to not get caught.
Yeah.
That's like the ideal time to not have to have good stamina. It could be like, no, I came too quick, not too quickly, because I just don't want us to get caught. I was being responsible. But on the non-monogamy side of the same coin is I find that when I have a girlfriend, women, there's like almost a sense of, oh, I'm cool. I want to sleep with this guy because another woman is co-signing it. You know, like he's got a girlfriend and he must
be. For sure. There's the women that'll be like, I want to sleep with you because a woman is basically assisting you my way. And then there's the women who are like, I don't want to sleep with you because even if I sleep with you, this can't go farther because you have a woman. You have a partner. And
then the people who like the excitement of the sleeping with like helping a guy cheat, they're like, "Oh, there's no excitement. It's not cheating.
It's boring." Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the concept of non-monogamous relationships.
Yeah,
by the way. Yeah.
Have you done any exploration in that?
Dabbled and dabbled a little bit, but like I've had 2 long-term relationships, which is crazy by my age. One was 4 years. One was only a year. I don't even really count that as long-term, but I guess. But the 4-year one taught me a lot, and what I learned is like, Honesty over everything, man. Like, no lie, like when I like chill with girls now and like they want to get to know me and stuff, I say like whole life, and they're like whole life, and I'm like honesty over everything. Like, honestly, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I had to spell that one out in my head.
Yeah, so like
I went to
honesty over
college.
everything. Like, I literally feel like a chick that I'm dealing with can do whatever she wants. Like, literally, no rules, no holds barred. Just tell me the truth.
Mhm.
And I hope that I could get a chick that could let me rock like that too. Like, that's all that matters. Because honestly, trust only comes from honesty. You can cheat. As long as you're honest, trust won't be broken.
And then it's not cheating.
It's not even
You know,
cheating.
it's you make it. I'm a big fan of like a relationship is whatever you want to make it. You make your own rules.
Yeah.
So you're curious, you're interested in poly or in
Yes.
non-monogamy.
Yes. I'm
And
interested
is that
in
something you tell women now when you like go on dates or?
Yeah. And you know what else too? I mean, I like to, like, you know, with the whole comedy thing, like, people, you know, like you were saying, like, oh yeah, you know, you're on the rise, and it's like I try to like downplay it and like whatever, just stay focused or whatever. But realistically speaking, I do see a trajectory in my career a little bit, and I honestly, like, I look at a lot of like people who are successful in show business, and I go like, oh, monogamy is not realistic at that point in life. And I'll tell girls now, like, if I go on a date, like I went on a date recently, which I rarely ever go on dates. And I told the girl, like, you know, realistically speaking, if you actually are thinking about really moving forward with me, if we were to work out one day, monogamy would probably really not be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to be a thing because I'm an honest person. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I mean? I'd rather just tell you what it is.
Yeah.
So I tell girls that, where I'm like, yo, like, monogamy is not always going to be a thing for me. I could do it now, but at some point it's going to be really difficult.
What kind of reaction do you get?
Mixed reactions, you know. Like, the girl on the date was like, so are you planning on not being monogamous? And I was like, no, I'm not planning on it. But if it comes up and it seems like real temptations all over, I'm going to let you know. Like, I'll tell you.
Before or after you do it?
Before.
Okay.
I believe in telling a person before. I think if the temptation gets strong enough, you should have enough respect, in my opinion, for the person where you could like deny it the first couple times. And as you feel it building, tell them like, okay, this is getting too much for me.
Mm.
You know, like there was a girl I was with long distance for like a week, broke up, right? And I told her, I was like, let's do, oh, this is great. This is great. This is great. So the first day that we're a couple, right? And long distance, right? I do a show that
How
night.
long distance are we talking?
Ohio.
Ohio to New York. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Yeah. It's not like the worst, but it's far.
Sure.
So that night I do a show, right? I go in the green room, text her immediately because two girls from the show seem like they want to have a threesome. They're fine as fuck. So I text her and I'm like, yo, remember how I said like we were just gonna be open and honest with each other? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I think I already want to fuck other people. And she's like, what? We just started going out. And I'm like, two hot girls, like they want to have a threesome. Now this is where you get to find out, especially girls my age, how serious they are about this and how mature they are with this stuff. I tell her this and she goes, oh, okay, then I'm probably gonna fuck someone else tonight. And I was like, I don't know if this is like a tit for tat type of thing. I think it's just like a if it comes up type of thing. And she goes, okay, well now it's coming up. I'm gonna fuck someone else. And I was like,
was she attractive?
yeah,
She's an attractive woman in the world. She could probably just go
For
yell
sure.
out a window and
for
it
sure,
will come up.
100%. But I was like, I don't think that's what I'm doing. I mean, it's like sitting in my lap.
Oh, look at Eagle
that's-
just. Ooh.
Yeah, and it's a tricky
Eagle.
situation. I don't know if I'm doing it right.
Eagle. I don't think
how
you're
to-
doing it right either.
Yeah. I don't know how it works.
That's definitely not how it works.
And that's the tricky thing about like non-monogamous relationships is like it's a confusing thing for people who haven't done it.
It requires a lot of communication. You know, a lot of people, you make your rules. Let's say, I'll use the example from before. Let's say the rule is like, you can hook up with other people, but butt fucking is just for us.
Okay.
That's our special hole. And
Our special hole. That's adorable.
yeah, and let's make a little genderless and say it's like anyone's butthole. So it's like
Okay.
no one's entering any of our buttholes. It's like rules can change. The idea is like you can always come back to the table and say, hey, I know we said we're not butt fucking other people, but like, oh, there's this partner I have and she's awesome and like we really want to do anal. And then you can like renegotiate the terms
For sure.
of the relationship. And also, let's say in the scenario here where let's pretend you and Ohio chick were doing it a little more ethically. And you had this conversation was like, hey, you just got to let me know beforehand. And then you did. And then you had the threesome. And then she later was like, that felt icky. That didn't feel right. it doesn't mean like it has to end the relationship. It just has to be like, hey, we followed the rules, but it still kind of felt weird. Let's talk about it. Yeah. And then you just got to be willing to have those conversations, which some people says a lot of work, but I say then there's more payoff and more reward in like really fun sex with, say, like a threesome at a comedy club afterwards, you know? But yeah, it's
interesting. I ended up not having a threesome that night.
You started shit for no reason.
I declined it.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? It seems like you're uncomfortable with the fact that you immediately were like, well, then I'm gonna fuck somebody else. Like the tone in her voice, I was like, it seems like you're uncomfortable.
That's good.
So I just declined it.
That's good because otherwise, I was gonna say Eagle. That sounds like fuckboy behavior. But no, look at you. Look that with a conscience.
I'm a sweetheart, man. I just have a lot of sex. It's a weird problem. It's a weird combo.
You call yourself a sex addict sometimes, but is that in jest, or do you genuinely think that's a thing?
No, I genuinely think so.
And why is that?
Because it disrupts my life.
Okay.
Like genuinely, just like any other addiction, it disrupts my life.
That's valid.
Yeah.
But it also seems like you have impulse control.
I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better.
You turned down a threesome from 2 hot chicks that was handed to you at a comedy club. That's impulse control like a motherfucker.
Well, that's a newer me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's within the past, year? That's a lot better. The old me, Mm-hmm. I mean, I've the stories I've got, man. I mean,
this is the podcast for those stories.
I mean, like, it's almost... I almost wish I was like a sex addict who didn't know how to get girls, so I could just beat off all the time. Because it's a lot safer of a lifestyle. It's a lot better of a lifestyle.
Safer, but very unproductive.
Very unproductive.
You don't really leave the house often.
Yeah, not as many cool memories, I guess.
You leave the house to go get lube, and then you find out that like you can get a TaskRabbit to go get the lube for you, so you really don't have to leave.
You know what I went through a phase where I would like I'd be leaving comedy clubs late at night.
Yeah,
and I'd get horny. And be like, I'm gonna meet a girl on the train and fuck her. And I saw your jaw drop. I don't know. People are always like, what?
Because I can't pull that off. So,
but that's the problem is I can.
Oh, fuck you.
And the problem with that, though, is it sounds cool until you've done it for a month straight. And you're almost batting 100%, and you're like fucking racking these numbers up with these random girls, and half of them aren't even that hot, and half of them might be homeless. Like you don't even fucking know.
It might be homeless.
Yeah, and you're like, just like, bro.
Let's go back to your place. You're on the train. It's like, where am I?
Delancey Street bathroom.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, the train station.
A stranger.
I know that bathroom because
it's disgusting.
It's one of the few subway stations that I can think of that has bathrooms.
Absolutely. And I met a girl by, I'd say, Rockefeller Center or Bryant Park Station, waiting for the F train. Seen her waiting for the F train. We got on the train together. She's cute. We get on the train. I'm talking her up. In my mind, I'm like, I want to fuck this girl, right? By the time Delancey comes, like the stop before Delancey, I'm like, it seems like I'm going to be able to do it. And she's like, yeah, but I'm not going back to your place because I don't know you. You're a stranger. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm not getting off at Delancey. And she's like, well, and Delancey comes up and she stands by the door and she goes, you can either get off here and fuck me in the bathroom or you can go home and not fuck me. And
people are around and hear this.
I mean, it's late. So there's not that many people on the train. I get off and I'm like, all right, let's do this. I fuck her in the bathroom in the Delancey subway station bathroom.
Men's or women's bathroom?
We go women's because I got long hair. What are they going to say to me? I tell them I'm trans. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And how was that?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Until you walked out and looked behind you, you were like, oh my God, that's the Delancey subway bathroom.
Yes. Absolutely that.
Until reality slaps you in the face.
Yeah.
Wait, so how do you hook up with strangers on the train like that?
A lot of charm and luck. I don't know. A lot of talking. You know, a lot of flirting. At that hour, you know, if you're flirting with a girl, I feel like there's almost a higher percentage chance that she's gonna go home with you anyway, just because of the hour alone. It's like a hornier hour of the night. You know, if she's out, she's a part of the nightlife already. She's like whatever. She doesn't have to be up in the morning. Clearly, if she's out at that time, she's going home by herself. Clearly.
Yeah.
Right? So she's not fucking someone else at that time. You know, you got a shot in the dark. You got a shot.
I want to say... Okay.
I think that girl specifically, I showed her a dick pic on my phone while on the train with her.
How did I assume she wanted to see that and wasn't just you?
No,
flashed your phone.
Yeah, I didn't just flash my phone. No, fucking
Which
beat
the
over
new
the head with a purse.
It's the new trench coat, right? Because now that we have these phones where you can have your dick pic, you don't even have to like, get naked and flash your junk through a trench coat. You can just like show your. You can just run up to someone and be like, ha, and then run away with your phone.
Absurd. It's so crazy.
It takes flashing to a different level.
Yeah.
But I want to say, hey, how do you hook up with women on the train? But I know the immediate first thing is you have to not seem so desperate, which I feel like anyone who asks, how do I hook up with more women? There's automatically like a level of thirst that no matter what you tell them, it won't work.
Yeah, well,
that makes sense.
Well, the first step is genuinely just being like, well, if I don't hook up with her, I still want her number and still want to like talk to her.
Sure.
So that was the first step for every time that it's happened. I've been like genuinely trying to get their number and like actually talk to them. And then the more we talk after I get their number, I realize like, oh, this girl is like just as flirtatious right now as me. Like this is actually a shot. Like let me keep going and see how far this can go. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it has worked before in the past.
And I think you're like a genuinely good dude. So how do you balance the like trying to go hit on someone you think is cute on the train without like harassing a random woman who doesn't want to be spoken to?
Oh man, this is I'm happy you asked that. I'm so happy you asked that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so catcalling is a term I hate. I hate catcalling.
Oh yeah. You hate the term catcalling or you hate the act of catcalling?
The term, I guess. I wanted to say the whole thing, but I guess the term. Okay, so I have a lot of theories on catcalling.
Oh, boy.
For instance,
a couple of straight guys in Brooklyn talking about their opinions on catcalling. I can't wait.
I'm sure this episode is gonna get some.
I will direct them towards your email address
for sure. First of all, a big section of a big amount. I'm not gonna say all the women that are against catcalling and outraged with the catcalling. But the majority of them, I would like to say, if I can generalize, don't come down on Billy, come down on me, is white feminists, right? Like the type of girls that like move into the hood and gentrify a neighborhood. With that being said, guys being like, yo, ma, excuse me, or yo, you're beautiful. Those type of girls will be like, oh my God, he catcalled me. But the actual girls that are from that neighborhood, if they don't like it, they'll be like, suck my dick and keep moving. Or they'll just ignore the person. It's not a big deal to them because it's a cultural thing. Catcalling on a disrespectful level where it's like, yo, bitch, you got a fat ass. I don't give that the green light at all. I think that's super wrong. However, not everything is that. And I think that's catcalling. I think the other stuff is a gray area that's not catcalling. The stuff where it's like, yo, excuse me, you're beautiful. Like, if you watch that video of the girl walking up and down the street and that started like the whole fucking movement, the catcalling thing. Most of those guys were just like, yo, excuse me, you're beautiful. They weren't saying anything too disrespectful. And people were like, well, that's catcalling. Is it? Excuse me, you're beautiful? Would you rather meet guys only on apps? Because the majority of the dudes on apps are fucking weirdos. A guy that can actually genuinely make eye contact with you in public and tell you you're beautiful is not a weird guy. That's a confident man who's a regular person who gets vagina enough to not be a creep. In my opinion. Like, I know comedians. We know comedians who can't make eye contact with women. Those guys would never catcall ever. But I'll tell you what, I would not, if I was a girl, I would not want to go on a date with those weirdos.
But those dudes who don't have the confidence to catcall out in the open are the types of dudes who would like go on YouTube and be like, "Whoa, you fat cunt bitch."
Absolutely.
Because they don't have to look anyone in the eye.
I think it's better for a guy to, not be scared to talk to a woman in public. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. I think part of it has to do with
being respectful while doing it
and being able to read, like, does this person want to be spoken to? Like a woman with her headphones in doesn't want to be spoken to.
And here's the thing. If you read that wrong, because we're not psychic, if you read that wrong, then guess what? The second you get that acknowledgement that she doesn't want to be spoken to, disengage.
Be out.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
And I don't see a problem in that. I don't think guys are dickheads if they can do that. Because that's what I do. If I go to talk to a girl, first things first, excuse me is the first thing out of my mouth. Hands down. Excuse me is just manners. Everybody knows that, right? You raise with manners. Excuse me. If the girl seems like she doesn't want to be engaged with that, I'll be the first one to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Have a nice day. First one. However, if she does seem like she's going to engage with that, of course I'm going to keep going. If there's some type of eye contact, smirk, smile, some type of feedback, I'm going to keep going, of course. I have seen guys get mad after a girl turns them down, that is the side of catcalling, whatever you call it, that I don't agree with either.
Mm-hmm.
Where like a girl turned her down, then they're like, "Oh, you ugly anyway, bitch." Like, no, she's not, because then you wouldn't have tried to talk to her. One, and two, what is wrong with you? Like, let her go.
Yeah,
you're gonna get turned down. You shot your shot. That's the risk you took.
You hear that? Or how about now? Do you hear that now? Oh yeah, that's a vibration. That is the sound of the LX3 Plus prostate stimulator that I received courtesy of AdamMail.com, my sponsor this week. We like my sponsors, right? Because my sponsors help literally put food in my mouth. Big fan of AdamMail.com, especially because they sent me such a nice toy. This thing's like pure silicone. This might be one of the nicest toys I own. I'm gonna just go ahead and slip this guy in me while I talk to y'all right now. Wait. Okay. Breathe and okay. That's in. Hey. Whew. Okay. That's pleasant. Yeah, ad read. I got to convince y'all to go buy sex toys right now. Okay, AdamMail.com. That's where you can go to get some male sex toys. So you can get like a prostate wand simulator or like a cock ring or a sex swing for you and your lover. AdamMail.com, because guys, we can have sex toys too. Oh, it's like if I buck my hips in the right direction, it just like really just lays it onto my prostate. Oh, yeah, so please go to AdamMail.com/manwhore and go buy yourself something nice. You'll get 35%. Yeah, up to 35% off and free shipping. And that's pretty great too, right? And, yeah. So, if you're looking to buy some fun sex toys, butt plugs, cock rings, kink toys, did I say cock rings? Prostate massagers, wands, male masturbators, pocket pussies, all the stuff, bondage, nipple clamps. I'm saying every sex toy I can think of. AdamMail.com. That's AdamMail.com/manwhore. Let me click this off. AdamMail.com/manwhore. Get 35% off and support the show. I gotta go take care of something right now. Let's get back to the show.
So I don't know. I'm on the fence with the catcalling thing.
People say, "Where's the line?" Where the line clearly is like, keep going when you've been shut down. Yeah. Being inappropriate with what your opener is. I mean, excuse me, seems to be polite enough. I do understand when, female, like we have plenty of female comics like who are in our news feeds who post a lot of great, snarky, like jokes about like dudes talking to them on the street. And I understand when they're, excuse me may not be like this thing where you think like that's rude, but I can understand where if you heard excuse me, miss 100 times in like a day,
but you don't see, that's the thing. That's the thing is they don't.
Okay, maybe not 100, but you hear like 20 times in a day, and that I think is plenty realistic in New York City.
Sure.
And then if you hear that every day, 20 times a day, I can understand by like, by Saturday why you're fucking furious.
Sure. But also, let's keep in mind, let's be realistic here. Mm. I mean, I'm sure women have heard this argument 1,000 times, so they're going to turn their head when they hear this. But let's be realistic. A good-looking guy says, excuse me, it could be number 400. Mm. That girl's going to be like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, they don't turn down guys that they want. You know what I mean? They don't get upset with guys they want. So, I mean, it puts men in a weird position where a confident dude might just feel like, well, I'm the man. And then he like, yeah, I'm good looking, I'm this, I'm that. And then he says, excuse me, and he gets turned down. And then she's upset and she writes these statuses. But a lot of the statuses come from ego, in my opinion, where it's like these girls, for instance, there's been times where I've almost had to like, I held back, but like I wanted to check a girl's ego, where it's like I could say like, excuse me, because she dropped something. And she'll be like, oh, I'm not even interested. And it's like, I don't want you. You dropped something, miss. Like, yeah. And that happens a lot where women now are like, their egos are inflated because we live in a city of 9 million. Of course, a lot of men are going to try to talk to you. Men are usually the aggressors. Women usually don't aggress towards men, even when women find men attractive. I mean, you're a guy. What do? They smile, maybe at max. But women don't, approach men. I think I get how some, like I said, like some versions of men trying to talk to women in public can be negative. But I also see how there's a natural aspect to men trying to talk to women in public on an animal level. I know we like to believe that we're not animals and humans are above animals, but we're not. We're animals. And
we're just animals with iPhones.
Yes, we're animals with iPhones. And perfect. And I mean, it's natural for us to want to procreate and us to want to, talk to the other side. Mm-hmm. And to some extent, that's dying now. Like, you ask most couples how they met and it's through an app, that's not normal. But that's not, it's like, I'm fine with the app usage. I'm fine with it. I'm not against it.
You're giving the old crickety man, like, these kids and their apps.
And I'm 24.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but are we just like holding on, grasping to what we think was normal then? Because this is just the new normal. I think it's like 40% of people, I'll have to fact check that, but I think it's about like 40% of people meet their significant other on like online or on a dating app now.
I think there's a disconnect in that. Mm-hmm. I think there's a problem with communication through humanity in that. If people eventually, because eventually 40% will turn into 60, turn into 70, sure. 80. And I think at some point it's going to cause humanity to have trouble communicating. In person.
I think it already does.
Yeah, and it's not a positive thing. It's like the old man thing, like, oh no, these apps, but in reality it is an issue. I think it's healthy for people to be able to talk in person for the first time to a stranger.
Well, I think that I think it's healthy to do that, but we have to figure out a way to mesh that with the rising acknowledgement of what a woman experiences every day.
True.
Right? So like we have to figure out, like, should a man never say anything to a woman on the street? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Or in a bar or wherever, because the street is just a bar without the bar.
Absolutely.
Right? However, we got like a woman walking down the street with headphones. Leave her the fuck alone. She's got her headphones on. And there's probably a good reason she got the headphones on. Probably has them on because she doesn't specifically want people. I've got friends who say, I put my headphones on. I don't even play music. I just don't want people to talk to me.
Mm-hmm. I think the most important thing is a woman is not mute. She will turn you down quickly.
Yeah.
And when that happens, the most important thing, more important than all these other rules, is that's it. Yeah. Once you get turned down, disengage.
Now, and then is that disengagement, can we get to a place where that disengagement, that rejection doesn't have to be a blog-worthy event?
Now, that's, to me, where the other side comes in, where it's like, well, can you guys meet us in the middle?
Because if that guy disengages when you shut him down, even if maybe you didn't look approachable, but he tried, he didn't excuse me.
Is there something really wrong with that?
Yeah, and she takes her headphones off, like, dude, I'm trying to work, please leave me alone, and he just backs away.
Is there something wrong with that? I personally say no. I personally think this is Eagle talking, not Billy, don't attack him. I think if a guy approaches you and you turn him down and he walks away politely, I don't think he did anything wrong. Mm-hmm. As long as he approached you with respect and you turned him down and he walked away with respect. And it's,
Sure. And on that individual case, I get that. But when that same person who maybe, let's say she's got a 40-minute subway ride, let's call that there's 20 stops in that 40-minute subway ride. And she maybe like half of those, someone fucking tries to interrupt what she's doing. That one thing where you're like, this isn't much of a problem, this one instance. But if that same woman's got to deal with that 10 times in 40 minutes, I'd be furious by the time I got off the train. If I got interrupted from a book I was enjoying a bunch of times because somebody wanted to fuck me.
I don't think, I think that's unrealistic. I think 10 times in 40 minutes on a train ride, I don't even think 3 times in 40 minutes on a train ride is realistic. Most men aren't confident enough to approach a woman on a train. So realistically speaking, if a chick's on a train for 40 minutes, one guy's going to approach her, maybe two. And this is a terrible, I wish we could change subjects because
we can
because
change.
I'm so politically incorrect on these things. Like, I feel like our culture is at a point where it's like, we need to get comfortable, as backwards as it sounds, we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Listen, life is not comfortable. We could all name 1,000 things that make us uncomfortable every single day.
Like this conversation, apparently.
Yeah.
Right, but it's good. But
we got to have these conversations.
Exactly.
And girls got to get hollered at sometimes, and it sucks. but life is not comfortable all the time. I'm not saying rape is okay. I'm not saying sexual harassment's okay.
Now I got uncomfortable.
No, I'm not saying those things are okay. I'm saying something as like a guy finding you attractive and trying to engage with you and then backing away. I think that's fine. I think that's more than fine. You know, if you're uncomfortable with it, yeah, uncomfortable things happen. But guess what? That guy could have been your future husband. It could have been a great guy. And then if you shut down the one ugly guy that you don't want and go, now all men can't do this because ugly guys have been harassing me all day, you might miss out on a great guy because you changed the fucking culture. You changed what's acceptable because of a couple ugly guys. Or guys not ugly, but like guys you don't want.
Because it sounds like what you enjoy most about all of this is the real life interaction. The two human meat suits speaking in person as opposed to on their phone.
It's beautiful. I holler at old ladies, not trying to bag, not trying to fuck, not trying to get their number, nothing like that.
You got an issue against older ladies, man? Come on.
No.
You're 24. Everyone's an older lady.
No, I mean, like, I holler at, like, 80-year-olds. Seriously. All the time. Not trying to actually get with them. Okay. Just to make their day. And it works. Yeah? It works 100% of the time. I haven't had a time that it didn't work.
So how do you holler at an 80-year-old?
Oh my God, I do it all the time. I'm like, excuse me, you are so beautiful. She's like, oh, you're a queen. Like, I'll do it the same way I would holler at a young girl. Only difference is I don't continue. I don't go like and get their number or anything like that.
What happens if they ask for your number?
I'd give it to them. Yeah, I'd give it to them playfully. I probably wouldn't respond to their texts, but I'd give it to them. So this isn't a lifetime problem for women. This is when you're in your prime problem for women. Eventually, people aren't going to try to talk to you nonstop.
Yes and no. I think with the catcalling, for sure. There's other things where age and looks have never statistically proven to be part of the decision making. Some people go like, some people have tried to discredit like sexual assault victims who are like, oh, but look at her, like who's gonna rape her?
That's terrible.
And that has nothing to do because everyone knows that sexual assault has to do with power and not attraction. But I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of say like approaching people at the street.
I mean, I don't highlight girls in bars at all because I don't drink.
Yeah.
And I believe like, I don't drink. So if you're drinking, I immediately won't talk to you like that. Like, cause it's just like, I don't know. To me, it's like, this is one step away from some type of sexual assault or rape. You're under the influence and I'm not. So I just won't talk to you like that.
Drinking doesn't make it sexual assault. You have to the legal standard has to be incapacitated. Drunk is not incapacitated.
Drunk to me is incapacitated. I'm a young minority.
Okay, fair.
There are aspects of a woman's word is powerful. So she could be drunk and not
incapacitated.
Whatever
that's
is.
The difference between being like, oh hey, and her being like
sloppy. For sure. I don't even like if you're like super tipsy. I'm not gonna talk to you like that. We're not gonna have sex. It's not happening.
And that's
not happening.
And that's because
I don't drink at all. So I'm super sober.
No, I get that.
And also, I feel like if part of the influence behind us having sex is because of something in your body, then I don't want to have sex with you. That feels rapey to me, where I feel like, well, this isn't you in your conscious regular mind wanting to have sex with me. This is you under the influence wanting to have sex with me. So I don't want to have sex with you.
Well, for me, it's not a rapey vibe. For me, it's like an act of desire. I go like, well, I don't want to, if the first time I hook up with someone, I don't want it to be because, I don't want them to hook up with me because they were like under some kind of influence. I want them to soberly be like, I want to fuck this guy. So if like when they're sober, they're like, I want to fuck you. We're going to go drinking. Then I'm like, cool. But if like they only express desire when they're intoxicated, I go like, ooh, like, do you even think I'm cute? Or did you have to get drunk to think I was cute?
Yeah.
But you mentioned before, like being a young minority dude, like, does that play a role in some of the decisions you make, like with in sexual and dating? Yeah,
100%.
Because the word of maybe like a tipsy white chick is worth more in society than like a sober young
this is
black
gonna sound crazy,
man.
And I could say this as speaking for myself and speaking for stories from my friends, where there'll be like a white girl and she's drunk, and you tell her no, and she'll go, "Don't you know if I was to tell a cop as a white girl, like straight like that, I can tell them you raped me and they would believe me?" Like, girls say that. And feminists hate to hear that because they go, oh, you're making it seem like women lie about rape. Well, they don't, I'm not going to, the majority of the time, if a woman says she's been raped, it's true. But it happens. And
let's look at that.
Also, white women are the scariest people on earth to a young minority. And I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense. People think the opposite. They think the flip, that minorities are the scariest thing to a white woman. But it's the opposite. White women are terrifying because it is your word completely over our word 1,000% of the time. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying.
When did you first learn that growing up?
When did I first learn that growing up? I feel like I didn't really realize this until I was an adult. Because I'm not really that attracted to white women anyway. So,
well, now you're gonna get outrage tweets.
That's hilarious. That's racist. You have to be attracted to every race. Because that makes sense. No, so yeah, I learned it as an adult. Once I started, seeing college girls lie on like dudes more and my friends more, and like we go to parties, and like girls would be like ready to throw away. Like I have friends that play basketball and stuff, and girls would really threaten them. You know what I mean? Like white college girls that were like drunk, and that's
explicit threats,
like explicitly threaten them, and I'd be like, oh my god, like this is like weird. Like you guys are really ready to lie on somebody. That's when I first started seeing it as an adult, young adult, like college age. But before that, I didn't really see it. I had a friend growing up who it's weird, man. I think as a comedian, I was talking about this when the Me Too stuff came out. I tried talking about the Me Too stuff from my perspective on stage, which was a headache.
I imagine.
And I learned as a male to talk about sexual assault or Me Too or any of this stuff, rape, any of it. It's equivalent to a white comedian or a white person talking about Black Lives Matter. It's equivalent. It's literally the same type of drawback where people go, you can't do this. They shut up. They don't want to hear anything you have to say. Mm-hmm. And I gave up. I was like, I'm done. Like, maybe my perspective's correct. Maybe it's a nice perspective, but the world doesn't need it. Fuck it.
Or it needs to be a very, very brilliant and hilarious take. I think when you tackle something really heavy, like you better be, unless you got something from your, it better be really fucking good. When people go like, what? I'm going to be this edgy white guy comic who's been doing comedy for 6 months. I'm going to do a joke with the N-word. Yeah. It's like, you're not good enough to even really attempt that yet. Like you don't have chops
Absolutely.
For that. I mean, we've seen like there are comics. I don't know how you feel about like Louis C.K.'s joke that has the N-word in it.
Oh no, it's fine.
Right.
First of all, love Louis C.K. as a comedian, you
Yes.
guys, as a stand-up comedian. Didn't say as a person.
Yeah.
As a
stand-up comedian, very separate things. but the idea like you better be good enough to handle that heavy topic.
Yes.
So sometimes I'll think of something heavy and I'll be like, oh, like maybe I think this is funny, but like I'm going to pass on this for now. Maybe in 10 years I'll be good enough that I can do this.
I've done that.
You know? Yeah.
And also I grew up around things in high school where it's like now I look at it with all this Me Too stuff and I'm like, was some of that unacceptable?
Probably. But we didn't know better. Because no one taught us. Because we don't have sex ed in this country. And we certainly don't talk about consent enough in this country.
But also, the girls at the time didn't know it was a problem.
Right. Because when you're socialized to think that you're supposed to be at the behest of a man's desire, yeah, that's fucking fly. How am I supposed to talk about consent culture when you're flying around my house? There we go. Oh, you piece of shit. Okay, it's fine. I think a lot of that stuff, yes. But we don't know it because no one taught us to. If you're kind of brainwashed to think something's cool, if you're like one of those cults where they're like, yeah, and this 60-year-old guy's gonna have sex with this 12-year-old girl, but everyone's been brainwashed to think it's acceptable. Doesn't mean it was acceptable. It just means we were all brainwashed to think so.
Well, I mean,
and then when we get out, we escape the hole.
Do you use FetLife? You use FetLife probably, right?
Nah.
Okay, so I was on FetLife for a little bit. I hate it. I'm not a big fan of it. There's a lot of it is just dom sub. Like they make it seem like there'd be so many different fetishes on that website. Yeah. There's really not much. Like they exist, but the majority of the people on there
DS
are
stuff.
Yeah. And I would like watch some of the stuff and like see some of the interactions, and it made me uncomfortable. Some of it was like, okay, this is basically like, I don't know if it's rape. I don't know what it is, but it's not. I don't want to call it not normal. I don't like
FetLife is far fetishes. From. It's okay to say it's not normal, but it's not supposed to be normal, and that's what's fun about it.
Yeah, I don't like frowning on people's fetishes, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's certain aspects of it where I go like, is this girl okay? You know what I mean?
Well, it's consensual. If they're doing it properly, then it's consensual non-consent, which is like a whole
Consensual non-consent. Yeah, of course.
Sometimes they'll call it con, non-con. But yeah, like the idea is like that's a fetish in and of itself, doing like essentially what is rape role play. That's like a fun thing for people. I had that with one of my exes. Where,
I've done rape role play for sure.
Yeah. Well, I was the one who wanted to be raped. So that was
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like the best way we were able to, actualize it was like get me really stoned, let me kind of drift off and be hard. Cause like get me to a place where like I feel like I'm too heavy to move, almost like passing out, and like let her ride me. And like I've like kind of passed out in the middle of being ridden, and then like I wake up and I feel used, and it's hot and it's fun for me. But that is a thing that's pre-negotiated.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the part that makes it all consensual.
For sure. Yeah, my ex used to be into the whole rape role play fantasy thing. And at first I was kind of uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
I was like, but I was like, I'll do it for her. And
how sweet of you.
Me too. No. So I do it for her, and eventually I got into it. I was like, okay, this is cool. But it was interesting how, the different levels that she wanted to take it to, like the lights off, you come in the house and I don't know who you are. And it's like, okay. Yeah. And you try different things. It's fun.
Yeah. Time for the fan whore appreciation moment, everyone. Sponsored by you. This is the part of the show where I like to thank several members of my fan whore community on Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's kind of like a monthly fan club subscription meets Kickstarter. You choose how much money you want to spend each month, and different levels of support gets you different membership perks, including dozens of bonus episodes of the Man Whore podcast. Right now, I want to say a shout out to Tyler D., reppin' Montreal, man. Yeah, you the man. Thanks so much for your membership. Sherry P., reppin' Canada as well. She's a big Nina Hartley fan, and well, if anyone listened to my episode with Nina Hartley and heard us make out at the end of it, you'll know I'm a big fan of Nina too. She's great. And Natasha R., a Philly babe. I know you all can't see her. I have, thanks, hun, for the nudes and the dollars. You're both gorgeous and generous. All right. And you too can become a member for as little as $1 per month. And you can cancel your membership at any time. Membership comes with all sorts of wonderful rewards. All you got to do is visit patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Not only do you get your perks, but you're also supporting me and helping me, pay rent in a place that doesn't have dead animals in the ceiling. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. All right, now let's go ahead and wrap up with Eagle Witt.
I feel like, man, boy, can we please change subjects from all these subjects that are going to get me torn up? I mean, these subjects are going to ruin my career before it starts. Jesus, man.
I'm going to get like an email from you 2 years from now, like, yo, man, I'm up for this Comedy Central thing. Can you take that episode down?
Yo, you don't know how serious what you just said.
I know it's serious.
I'm really going to hit you up like, can you please take that episode down?
No, I think we're talking about good
Hopefully
things.
We can edit some of this out, right? This isn't live, right?
I mean, it's not live, but this is good stuff. I think it's important. I think this is important stuff for dudes, especially straight cisgender men, to talk about. I don't think we talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And I think it's good because even if we're wrong, hopefully we're temporarily wrong, or we're trying to together figure out what's right.
For sure.
A lot of this shit is fucking cloudy and difficult, and there's a lot of books to read.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, The other thing that stood out to me, not to like make things even heavier, was just that there's I looked
at your notebook, like, what is next?
The only other thing that was heavier was just like the idea of like was incorporating race into it, because obviously you express like how you and other like friends who are dudes of color who were getting kind of threatened by white women.
I mean, I think there should be like an Emmett Till term. Like, I genuinely think there should be a term surrounding his name, where like people see that as a thing, because it's real. Emmett Till happens all the time.
My God,
in smaller versions.
I grew up in Bergen County, New Jersey, so like very, very white, affluent area of New Jersey. And my godbrother Branson, who I've known since I was like as far back as I can think, I was told he was my godbrother because my parents are his godparents, and they didn't know how to explain to like a 5-year-old white kid how he's like quote unquote related to this black kid who he hangs out with like 2 to 3 times a year. So they was like, oh, this is your godbrother. So I was like, okay, cool. And Branson came to live with us the last 2 years of high school because he was in Harlem and he wanted to go to like a good college. He's an artist, and so he went to MVOT for his last 2 years. And he had to, he told me this later on in life when I could understand it. But he was like, yo, he says to me, he's like, your pop sat down with me and explained like not to date the white girls, which is basically all the girls. He's like, basically, you can't really date here because a lot of people are going to be mad if like you date their daughter because you're black, and it's not fair. And my dad's got a weird voice. He's like, it's not going to be fair, and it's just a thing, and you just don't do it. And that was like a real thing, and I had no fucking idea. And that would explain why like Branson was always just friendly with his chick friends from high school rather than dating or hooking up with them because like he's fucking genuinely concerned.
I mean, race, I'm biracial. For anybody listening, I'm black and white. Race is weird with relations. It really is, because like I remember there's a kid in high school, one of my close friends. He came from Virginia, right? And I went to high school in upstate New York. And pretty boy, black kid, great athlete, super thug, like could fight. He's just like a guy that girls would like. And the first week in school, he dated like this really cute, kind of hood, but like white girl, right? Like stuck out white girl. And I remember asking one day on the bus, I was like, yo, Sam's great. Like she's gorgeous. I was like, and she's cool. She's always been cool. But like all these cute black girls on you, man. I was like, what made you choose her? And he was like, because in Virginia, it's a no-no. And I was like, what? And he was like, and keep in mind, this is like the late 2000s, like 2010 probably. I don't know.
Sure.
And he was like, yeah, like you can't be with a white girl in Virginia. So when I came to upstate New York, I was like, oh my God, I could be with a white girl finally. Like it was like cool.
I just want to try one.
Yeah, he's like, I want to try. I never had the opportunity. I'm like,
it's like going to Cali. You're like, I just want to try In-N-Out Burger. You know, we don't have it
absolutely.
Here.
And I was like, still? Like it's 2000 whatever. And he was like, still. He was like, in Virginia, you cannot be with a white girl. And I was like, that is crazy. That is crazy. In America in the 2000s, you can't be with a white girl. That's nuts.
And we didn't even get to talk about your fucked up dick. I just, sometimes we just run out of the
do we have more time? Because I wish we did. We dwelled on all this other stuff, man.
Do you have time to tell us how your dick's doing?
I will talk about everything.
Okay, well, tell me how your dick's been, man. Because you were showing up in like comedy club green rooms being like, yo, guys, I think my dick's fucked up. So I'm surprised you never whipped it out.
I was close. So my dick had like, it was like a little bit itchy, not too itchy. And they were like almost like an ashy dick. Like they were like, it was like dry in certain spots. And I was convinced I had some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
like flaky, a little bit,
kinda.
Okay.
So like I was convinced I had some shit. So I like went to different doctors. At first I got tested for everything, and everything came out good. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then they were recommending me to dermatologists. So I would go to dermatologists, and they were like, didn't really know much. Eventually, I went to one dermatologist who, God, this shit sucked. But they took a skin sample off my penis, which fucking sucked.
Like with a little razor thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not a fun time. Yeah.
What'd you think when she pulled out the scalpel? You were like, that better not be going down there.
Oh,
you better be shaving
terrible. It was a very tiny piece, but I felt it. And they took that, and it turned out to be, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically a skin condition you can get anywhere. And some men, when I say some, I mean like 5% of men get it on their dick. And that's it. It's
like
just
athlete's foot on your dick?
It's like a weird skin condition that you take, a cream for, but the cream doesn't really do much.
Eczema? Nothing like that?
It's not like eczema. It's called like molluscum, something.
Molluscum?
No,
because molluscum, there's something that sounds like molluscum that is an STI, but it's like not a very common one.
No, not that. It's some shit. All I know is they said it goes away in a year to 18 months, which is ridiculously long.
Well, yeah, with all the fucking you do, Eagle, we get it. You're banging all these random women on the train.
And it eventually went away, luckily.
Okay.
But it took forever.
I'm glad your dick's okay.
God, it took forever. And it was uncomfortable. Also, they like shot my dick with something at one point. I hated that fucking little rash.
That's what had. Oh, that's... I'm sorry.
It's terrible. Luckily, it wasn't an STD, though. And that's what matters.
Yeah. You were like, so long as they can cut up my dick, they can shoot it, they can slap it, so long as it's not an STD.
As long as it's not an STD, I'm happy. I was so scared.
How many times, like, you go to... That's something weird about, like, people of our age. Like, we'll get something. You can go to the doctor. You can have a rash on your upper arm, and the doctor will be like, yeah, I think this is skin cancer. But yeah, doc, can I still fuck? That's what's important here. Can I have sex without having an uncomfortable conversation? That's all that I really care about.
God.
Well, I'm glad your dick's okay. Thanks for getting into some of these topics with me. Not what I expected.
Not what I expected either.
But that's the beauty of the thing, man. That's what makes this shit real.
Fuck.
You're not. I don't think you're in trouble, man. I don't worry. I would have said. Look, the couple of times I was like, "Ooh, I said something." I don't think we're gonna get too yelled at.
Listen, women listening, I just want to let you know I respect who you are as people, as a gender that doesn't conform. And also I just want to let you know, you guys are equals, as you already know. You already know you're an equal, and also catcalling is wrong. And
oh man, you're just going full podium right now.
Yeah, and I'm also not. I mean, oh my god, #MeToo. I put that on Twitter a lot because I care.
Oh, Eagle, I think you're digging a worse hole right now.
Now it's getting worse.
I think
Is it getting
it's
worse? It sounds sarcastic, doesn't it?
I think you should. Let's jump to your plugs. Where can people find you?
No,
I think that's safer.
Let's not tell them where they could find me. Let's not tell them where they could find me. They'll fucking show up at a show with torches.
No.
Listen. Hey, you know what? I'm just a young kid. You know what I'm saying? Making mistakes on podcasts. You guys don't crucify me for this.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah. You guys have a great day. Listeners, keep supporting Billy. This is a great podcast, great guy, great comedian. That's it. You
want to let them know where to find you on the internet or anything? You're good.
I have a feeling it's not going to be a good idea.
I think you're being harder on yourself than it is. But then again, what do I know? I'm a big dumb man too, so maybe we'll both get yelled at. We'll find out soon. All right, later, guys. All right, I have no idea if anyone's still with me at this point. Heavy topics, uncomfortable sometimes, but good. I think these are conversations people, including men, especially straight, cisgender men, we should be having these conversations with each other more often. All right? If you want to let Eagle know how you felt about him, give him a shout out on Twitter or Instagram at Eagle Witt. That's EagleWitt. Be nice, okay? He's a nice boy. He's a nice boy. I am allegedly a less nice boy, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheBillyPresida. Use the hashtag ManWhorePodcast so I can find what you're thinking about the show. If you want to say something a little privately, you can send me an email with your comments, your questions, your titty pictures, whatever, to manwhorepod@gmail.com. I want to say thanks again to my sponsors over at adammail.com. You can enjoy 35% off when you use the promo code MANWHORE at checkout. And of course, I hope a lot of you are planning on attending ManWhoreCon this year, August 3rd through August 5th. Baby, we're going to have a good time. We got over 20 fan whores lined up to hang out basically for a weekend and do some really fun activities, see some fun shows. Get your weekend pass today before tickets go up on April 3rd at manwhorepod.com/tickets. Next week, we've got a very, let's just say it's a bit of a unique episode. We are going to document one slut's journey as she makes her way to Brooklyn to see me. More on that next week. But until then, stay slutty.